This is Karim Rao from IT Visualizer channel. They will continue our lab, the Red Audit Lab. This is the video number 36. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have been continuing working with securing our Windows Server 2019 based on the recommendations of the Department of Defense and the Defense Information System Agency of the United States. This is the video number 6. We have been working for 5 videos on securing Windows Server 2019. Okay, so the recommendation that we have stopped at the last time, it was Windows Server 2019 password history must be configured to 24 password remembered. Okay, what is password remembered? You can set your password for your Windows Server local account. You can set it 24, or you can set a password 24 unique password. Okay, so you can, every time your password expire, you can set it with a unique one for 24 times. Yes, then you have 24 unique passwords. Okay, they are not the same. So for example, you have set a password 1 2 3. The next time you set a new password, it should be different. It should be 4 5 6, for example. This should not be the same password twice, or you cannot set the same password twice. This will be done for 24 times. So you need to set your password differently for 24 consequence time, or for 24 round, or 24 time. Okay, so after the 24th, you can recycle using your passwords or your old passwords. So he's saying here that a system is more vulnerable to unauthorized access when system users recycle the same password several times. So he's saying here that you should not use the same password several times, okay, without being required to change it to a unique password on a regular scheduled basis. So he's saying here you should not set the same password twice. So this group policy enforces you to use different passwords or unique passwords for 24 times. Okay, so for example, the 25th time you can recycle, or you can use the last 24 passwords that you have set. So this enables users to effectively negate the purpose of mandating periodic password changes. The default is 24 for Windows domain systems. So this applies, he means Windows domain systems, this applies to servers and to workstations and to Active Directory accounts, of course. So this 24 password remembered group policy can be applied to Active Directory accounts, to local server accounts, to workstations local accounts. So let's set this setting. So you need to go and set this password. So we will go and tell him to enforce password history to be 24 passwords remembered. So he will remember the last 24 password that you have set, and they should be all unique. Okay, the time or the number 25 you can use or recycle using your last 24 passwords. Okay, so now we can go to domains, and then we can open our Windows Server hardening group policy. You can set this to the default domain policy. The default domain policy will be applied to all of your workstations and servers in the domain, but we can differentiate, or we can make different group policies to be applied to different types of computers, servers or workstations. Anyway, so we will go to local policies, and then we should go to I think the security options, or account. Yes, account, then not account lockout, I think it's account, and then account, let's go again, not passwords, yes, passwords policy, and then here we can see enforce password history. We should let him remember the last 24 passwords, and they all should be unique. Okay, so you cannot set the same password twice. Okay, unless it is the 25th time. Anyway, we here go to another recommendation. It is to set the maximum password age to be 60 days. We have two things. We have the minimum password age and the maximum password age. The maximum password age, it is the time the password is left without change. So for example, you can use a password for 60 days. After 60 days you need to change it. Okay, so this is the maximum password age, or it is the time you should change your password. This is maximum password age, so it is 60 days. Okay, the minimum password age, it is different, or it is the opposite. It is the time or the period of time that you can leave the password, or it is the time that you can leave the password, or you can change it. For example, if you have set a password for your account and then you have changed your mind and you need to put or set another password, you should wait. If it is a minimum password age for 1 day, you will not be able to change the password unless 1 day has passed. So this is the minimum password age. The minimum password age, it is the time is given to you until you change your password. So for example, as I said before, I have set a password and then I changed my mind and I need to set another password. Okay, so he will not let me do this unless it is 1 day. This is the minimum password age. As for the maximum password age, it is the time or the period that you can leave your password without change. Okay, so for example, I have set my password and I can use it for 60 days. The day number 61 I need to change it. So this is the maximum password age and the minimum password age. So we will set the maximum password age as a recommendation to 60 days. Okay, and 0 is unacceptable. 0, it means that your password will be used forever. Okay, you don't need to change it. So 60, okay, he will set the minimum password age to half of the period. So we can see here that after I have set the maximum password age for 60 days, the minimum password age will be 30 days. Okay, so we need to change this value to 1 day. Okay, and then we have said what is the minimum password age. So let's continue and see. We need the minimum password age to be at least 1 day. Okay, here is saying that permitting, here we can see this is the description. Permitting password to be changed in an immediate succession within the same day allows the users to cycle passwords through their history database. This enables users to effectively negate the purpose of mandating periodic password change. So it's saying that you can make an immediate change. So for example, you have set a password and you changed your mind and you need to set another password. So this will not be done unless 1 day has passed on your password. Okay, the old password. This is 1 day. 0, it means that can be changed immediately, and this is not recommended. Actually, we have said this before. In my work environment it was 0, but the best recommendation now is for 1 day. Okay, so let's continue and set it to 1 day. And actually this password policy can be applied to servers and workstations and domain controllers. So this is a global setting. Okay, it's not only for servers. Okay, this is a global setting for Active Directory accounts, local accounts, local server accounts, and local workstations accounts. And here this is another recommendation for minimum password length. So this is the length of the password. It should be 14. This is that means that your password should be consisting of 14 characters. What we mean by characters? Characters, we can mean numbers, letters, special characters like underscore, and we mean by characters we can have capital letters, small letters. Okay, and actually this is what he mean by 14 characters. And actually I need to tell you something, guys. 14 characters means letters or numbers. Okay, this is the one. And then we will set another policy called complexity of password. Okay, what is complexity of password? That means that your password should contain numbers and letters, but it should be in a certain way that will make it complex or very difficult for the hacker to deduct, or for the hacker to guess. For example, you need to put capital letters, small letters, numbers, special characters. So this is what we mean by complexity of password. So now we will set the minimum password length to be 14 characters. That means it should contain numbers and letters. And then the next password, group policy, we will set complexity of password. Complexity of passwords means we should use numbers and letters, but we should use letters, for example, to be capital letters. Small letters, we need to include special characters like underscore, like whatsoever. So this is what we mean by the complexity of the password. So minimum password length should be 14, and actually this is for all of the accounts, okay, for the normal user accounts, the local accounts, but for the IT personnel or the Active Directory accounts for the IT, or the local accounts for the IT, this should be set to more. Okay, you can make it for 15 or 16 or whatsoever, and also you should set this to more length in service accounts or Active Directory application or service accounts. We have discussed this before. So we need to set the minimum password length to be 14 characters. So we'll set it the minimum password length to be 14. Okay, and then we will tell him apply and okay. And then we will set something called password must meet complexity requirements. Complexity, it means there is some rules for the complexity. Okay, for example, I can show you all. I have said this before. If you tell him, or you can go to the internet and see what is password or Windows password complexity. Let me show you some of the rules of the password complexity. Windows, okay, password complexity. I have said this before. So here let's see the complexity, what we mean by complexity. So this is some rules. We define this group policy, or we will enforce this group policy. Here is saying that the password may not contain, so here is one of the rules. For example, password may not contain the user's SAM account name. So for example, if I have my account or Active Directory account Karim, this should not be included in my password. So I cannot use my name or part of my name as a part of my password. Okay, this is one of the things. Okay, and then some things here you need to have uppercase, as I said before, capital letters. Okay, lowercase, small letters, numbers from 1 to 10, non-alphabetical characters, something like hash or underscore or whatsoever. This is some codes. So this is some of the rules for the complexity, or this is when you enforce the complexity group policy. This what the password will be. Okay, so it will enforce your password that it should contain uppercase and lowercase, and it should be from 1 to 10, and it should include special characters, and your password should not be a part of your name. So these are this group policy will enhance your password. So the minimum password length, it is to set your password characters or lengths, okay, how much they are, and the password complexity will enforce or enhance your password. Okay, so this is one of the rules that we should use to enforce or to harden our group policy. Okay, so we need to do this from the group policy of password must meet complexity. So we'll do this and we tell him to enable, and this is actually in all corporate environments, the complexity of password, and this is also done in Facebook and a lot of famous websites. Okay, reversible password encryption must be disabled. This is a type of encryption to the passwords that is no longer secure, so we need to disable it. There is a lot of encryptions that are now strong that can protect your password. So this is an old encryption method. This should be disabled. Okay, so because if you enable it, it will compromise your security. Okay, so this is done to protect your Active Directory local Active Directory accounts and local accounts password. Okay, it encrypts them. Okay, so anyway, store password reverse encryption, this should be disabled. Okay, so this is also a universal so all of these, let me show you, all of these group policies should be universal. Okay, you can apply it to workstations and to servers. Okay, so this can be done if you want to make it a universal group policy. This can be applied through the default domain policy. Okay, so let's continue with the other recommendations. Because I have discussed these group policies before, it is already applied to the workstations. So let's continue working with the other recommendations. Here we can see that he's saying that audit record must be backed up to a different system or media other than the system being audited. So, for example, we have enabled the audit option, okay, on a machine or on a server. So the logs of the audit will be stored on this machine that we have enabled the audit on. So he's saying here that the audit records or the audit logs should be not saved to the machine that we have activated the audit on or the audit option on. So this should be stored on a different system or a different place. So for example, you can have, for example, a place in your file server and all of the audit logs should be stored on it, or you have a centralized system log collector, something like there is some free software or open source software that it is a system log collector. You can set up this system on a server and it will collect all of the logs from all of the machines. I think this is one of the things. Protection of data log includes assuring the log is not accidentally lost or deleted. Okay, audit information stored in one location is vulnerable to accident or accidental deletion or alertation. So he's saying here that you should back up your logs for all of your machines and servers to a not a centralized location here, but we mean that it should not be saved to the same location that the logs are created or the audit option is activated. So I have a machine, I have activated the audit option on it, so all of the logs will be saved to the machine. Okay, we need to make sure that these logs, we have a copy of it in another place, and this to protect the data from accidentally lost or deleted. Okay, and actually also we should make sure that no one can alter or tamper these audit logs. We have seen this in another recommendation. We need to know who can access the event logs and play with it. Okay, so this is another recommendation. Anyway, you need to have a backup of your logs, okay, for all of your servers and workstations on another location. For example, you have a server, let's say we have a server and it will be for collecting logs from all of your machines in the domain. You need to set up a server and put a system collector log application, and it will collect all of the logs from all of your machines in the domain. This is done also in large corporates. Okay, so anyway, you need to make sure that the logs are stored in many locations, or let's see, it's not stored in one location. Okay, so this is done. We need to make sure of this. So establish and implement a process of backing up log data to another system or media other than the system being audited. You can make, I have a video on how we can export or how we can take a copy of the event logs and put it on another location or a shared folder, and then we can back up this shared folder. Anyway, so this is a way to secure or to have a way to secure our logs. Okay, so this should be done, and we need to do this more often. Okay, saying that Windows Server must at minimum offload audit records of interconnected systems in real time and offload standalone systems weekly. Protection of log includes assuring the logs is not accidentally lost or deleted. Audit information stored in one location is available to accidental or incidental deletion or alertation. So he's saying here that you need to have, I think what I understand it from here, that you need to have your logs stored, for example, on a server, and to be stored outside your working environment, something called offload audit records. Okay, I think this is what he is talking about, but let's see the description of it. Let's see what was he's talking about. This is also related to securing your logs. You need here verify records at minimum are offload from interconnected systems in real time and offloaded from standalone systems weekly. I think offloaded here means that you can access the logs when the systems are not connected or are not working. I think this is what he means. At minimum are offloaded from connected systems in real life and real time and offloaded from standalone systems weekly. Let's see what we mean by offloaded, what this expression means. Okay, offloaded. Offloaded means here rid oneself by selling or passing it to someone else, relieve oneself of a problem by talking to someone else, unload. A delivery could be offloaded immediately on arrival. So his can unload could be offloaded. He is meaning that to be unloaded. I think this is what he means, to be offloaded from Encryption in real time. So I think he is saying that it should be stored, okay, in real time, or you can take a sample of it in real time and take a sample of it weekly. Take a sample of these audit logs weekly. So it's saying here that you need to, if you are taking backup of the audit logs, you need to make sure that they are working. So you need to check the backup and see if these offloaded systems or offloaded logs are working. You need to check them. So it's something like checking your backup to see if your backup is working, okay, or your backup files are working. I think this is what he mean by this. Anyway, so this is one of the recommendations. Let's continue working with the other ones. Here, this is what I'm talking about. We need to make sure that to access, or who is accessing your event logs on your servers and your workstations. This should be done only by the local administrator or the domain admin. So we need to see the permissions in the event logs, and it is we have discussed before, it is divided to several parts, some related to application logs, some related to system logs, and some related to security logs. Okay, we need to see who have access to these parts or these logs in the event viewer. So we have done this before in the workstations. We need to go and check and see if these are the only ones. So he is saying that you should or the one that should have access to the logs are the event log user. There is a user called event log, local user called event log, local user called system, and the local groups of administrators. So we have these three to have full control over the application log. So let's see if these are the ones already listed. Okay, and this should be done to the security logs and to the application logs and the system logs. So we need to go and check the location of the application log. It is in a place, or it is in the C Windows System 32 and then event log. Okay, I think this is the application log, okay, of the remote domain controller. Here, this is the location. Okay, here we can see that he's saying, if you go a little bit further, okay, so this is the location. It is in C system root, means C Windows System 32 folder, Win EVT logs application. Okay, so this is the application log. We need to go there and check the file called application.evtx. This is the complete log, and see who have access or have permissions to modify and read and write to this file. Here we can see that the maximum log should be 32 megabyte, and when it reaches this size, it will overwrite events as needed. Oldest events first, so the oldest events will be removed and the newest events will be left. Okay, so this is also a best recommendation, not to overwrite all events, not to archive. This is the one we use in our environment, to overwrite events as needed. Okay, but when it reaches the maximum log size. So anyway, let's see who has permissions to access the application log. Okay, so let's go and see. We will open, or we will go to the C partition of the domain controller, okay, and see the application.evtx file and see who have access to it. So we'll open, right click and run. Okay, I think I don't need to see this again, I have already seen this. So right click and run and go to the domain controller C partition, and then we need to open Windows and then System32 folder, and then WinEVT. This is the folder that contains the logs of the machine. Okay, WinEVT and then logs. Okay, and then we need to see application.evtx. Let's see who have access and permissions, or what are the permissions for the different users on this log. Okay, if we go there and click on application and then properties, okay, properties, and then we need to go to security. Let's see here who has access: system administrators, the local administrators, and event log. So these are the three users that have access or have permissions on this file, and it is consistent or compliant with what is mentioned in the PDF, okay, or in the recommendations of the Department of Defense. So we have this already. These are the only allowed users to have access to the event log as a whole, okay, or the event viewer as a whole. Okay, so we need to do this for the application log, we need to do this for the system log, we need to do this for the security log. Okay, he's saying these are the recommendations. The security log we need to do the same, and the and the system log. So security log here will go down further, and we will check for the security. Right click on properties, and then security, the same applies. So this the same users, and we need to do this for the system actually also. So we need to go also to the system.evtx and see if they have the same. Okay, here we can see also, let's continue first to see the system properties, and then security, the same applies, the same users. Here is saying that event viewer must be protected from unauthorized modification and deletion. This is what we were doing, or what we have been checking, to check who have access or authorized access to the event viewer. Okay, protecting audit information includes identifying and protecting tools used to view and manipulate log data. Okay, operating system providing tools to interface with audit information will leverage user permissions and roles, identifying the user accessing. I don't see any anything what I think don't think what he means here. This is something, it's not clear. Let's see the other recommendation. Here he is checking the permissions on the program. So all of the logs are listed and manipulated and worked on with the program called event VWR. This is the program that will collect the logs and put it in a certain place. This is the program responsible for collecting the logs and identifying them and archiving them. So we need to know who have access to the program that collect the events. Okay, so this is one of the things. First we need to check also if the listed users and groups are the one that has access to the program of the event viewer. Okay, so administrators, systems, users, all of these are authorized users to have access to the event viewer application. So we need to check this also. We need to go to the program. Actually, when I try to see this on my domain controller, this program, I didn't find it actually. I think maybe because I have data center core installed on the domain controller. I think if it is a graphical interface, or it is a server operating system with a graphical interface, maybe I can see this, but actually I tried to search it and I didn't find it actually. So I tried to search more and more, but I didn't find it. I tried to search and I didn't find it any place, but you can find it here. Let's go and see it on my workstation. If we go to C system, then when we go to Windows, I think, and then we go to WinVert, I think he's saying No, here is event. Let's see. I think it's here event. No, I think this is not. We need to go to WinVert. Okay, this is it. Where is the WinVert? Okay, it is system 32, so we go to system 32. Okay, system 32, the folder, and then we go to, let's see here, we go to E. We go to E. Where is E? E. Let's go to event. EV. Let's see here. E, and it is ESET. No, I think it's EV LMN. Okay, event. I think we have here. Okay, I think this is it. Yes, this is the program that we are talking about. Right click and properties. Okay, and then this is the security, and these are the users or local users and local groups that have access to the event viewer program. Okay, trusted installer, local administrators, systems. Users have only read and execute. Okay, so they can read. Okay, only read. Okay, applications, packages, and these are the users that have access to the event viewer. I didn't find this program on my domain controller, I think because I have data center core installed on it. Anyway, so let's continue with the other recommendation. He is saying that Windows Server must be configured to audit account login, credential validation success. So you need to audit or open an audit option on your Windows Server 2019 to monitor and audit account credential validation. What do you mean by account credential validation? When you type your username and password, if this password is or this user is local on the machine or on the domain, your password and username should be verified. Okay, and this is called authentication. You need to be authenticated. I need to know that your username and password are correct. So if this is a local account, this should be done by the Windows operating system. So we need, if I have a local account, I am logging into my Windows machine with a local account, so I type my username and password, the Windows should verify that my username and password is correct. So this is called authentication. As for the domain, the same is done, but it is done by the domain controller. So I need these verification steps to be monitored and audited and saved and written to the event log. Okay, so why is this? Because I need to know if the validation or the authentication was successful. So for example, if I type my username and password and it was not correct, it should be recorded. So here is saying that you need to audit or record credential validation successes. Okay, this is successes and failures. You need to do both. Okay, so he is saying that audit will help you, or audit these kind of events will help you to trace and troubleshoot problems. So this should be done. Okay, so we will do this from a group policy perspective, and here we is saying that we need to activate a certain option so the audit logs can be collected effectively or to be correctly. He's saying that force audit policy subcategories setting to override audit policies category setting. Anyway, so I don't know what does this means actually, but we need to enable it. He's saying this, and this we will enable it from the group policy, and then we will enable audit of the credential validation success. So let's see how we can do this. So we need to audit the credential authentications or the credential validation success, or let's say we need to audit or record authentication process of the users and local users or Active Directory users. Okay, so let's see, here we have advanced audit policies, and by the way, I think I have told you before that I have a website called Windows. Let's see here, Windows security. Okay, I think this is the one. No, Windows security. I think I have a website, I remember. Windows, let's see here, I think I have Windows event log, security event, or Windows event logs. Let's see here, I think I have it, event. Yes, I think this is the one. Not, yes, Ultimate Windows Security. This is a website that describes, or that let you, or have you have a description about every audit policy. So these are all of the audit policies. So for example, we need to see the one concerning our group policy, so something that called audit, I think system, maybe account management. Let's go a little bit further here. So here is saying that it is account login. Okay, so this is the audit policy. We have account login, this is one. So he is saying a description: account login events provide you a way to track all of the account authentications that is handled by the local computer. Okay, the local computer is a DC, maybe it is a DC or a normal server or a workstation. You will see events that are logged for the domain accounts that the DC authenticates. If the computer is a member server, you will see only events that are logged for the authentication of local accounts on the server. So you have authentication for local accounts on the machine itself, or for domain accounts on the domain controller. Okay, the audit account login events compromises for, and here see it is divided to different parts. One of them is called credential validations. NTLM authentication produces events on both DCs and member servers. So this is related to the authentication process. Okay, this is a description for every part of the group policy itself. So here I think we can go further. He is discussing every bits and pieces of this group policy. So here we can see that he's describing the process in details. So I think it is a very good way to know. So this is what he's talking about. These are the events itself. So you can see here that part of the events being logged, okay, or recorded. So here you can check if you are hazy or you don't know what this group policy is. You can go and check it from this website. Anyway, I think we need to pass it this real quickly. Okay, so we need to go, and first of all we need to make sure that this policy is enforced first, and then we will activate audit of credential validation. Okay, so let's see. This can be done on the default domain policy. Okay, this is a global setting. This should be done to all of your servers and workstations. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. Let me first see how much time we have been working now. We have about 38 minutes. I think we can continue. So we need to go and enforce the group policy. Okay, we need to go and tell him, okay, I think in the local policies, maybe in the security options. Okay, and then in security, okay, this is the one, security. I think it's in network, maybe network security. Yes, it is in network security, or audit. Yes, this is audit. It is audit force. Okay, force audit policy subcategory setting. Okay, this is it. Let's see it from here. Okay, so you need to activate this. Okay, this group policy. Okay, and enable it. Okay, and then we need to go and open the audit option for credential validations. Okay, so we need to go to the audit. Okay, we can need to go down for advanced audit options. Okay, advanced audit options. I think what I'm doing here, this is we are connecting remotely to the domain controller. This is a PowerShell command. What I'm doing here, he is stating in the PDF that you can export all of your security or of your audit policies. Okay, you can not export, you can see all of your audit policies. So for example, in the group policy, in the domain, you have different audit options. You need to see what are audit options that are applied to a machine. So for example, you need to check a machine and see what are the audit group policies that are applied to it. So we can run this command and see. Okay, let's have this command and see what are the audit policies that are applied to a machine. Okay, so we can run it. I will run this command on my domain controller remotely using the Windows Admin Center. So this is a way that you can check what are the audit group policies that are applied to a machine, any machine. Okay, so let's tell him here and press enter, and here we can see that no auditing. So all of these, we have our credential validation, it's not audited. Okay, so we will not collect logs for credential validation. All of these are no auditing. If one of them is activated or one of these group policies are activated on the domain controller, it will say it is audited. Okay, so let's open this option. So all of these are group policies or audit group policies that are not applied to my server or my domain controller. So let's see and continue, or let's see how we can activate the credential validation audit policy. We need to go and open Advanced Audit Policy Configuration, System Audit Policies, Account Login, Account Credential Validation, and Successful Events. So a successful authentication of an account or a user account, this should be audited, and a failure of authentication of an account, also this should be audited or recorded. So here we can go to account login. It is in the account login section. Okay, and then we have credential validation. We need to record successful events of credential validation and failure. We will see that the next recommendation is to record both successful and failures. This is credential validation failure. We have done this already. And then we need to continue. Here is saying that another audit option to audit account management, other account management events. So here he will audit the groups, okay, the local groups of the machine. Let's see more description about it. So here we can see what are account management, other account management events. Let's see this from the website. Let's go and see what is the description of this type of events. Okay, what is here? It's account management. Okay. And let's see the section of other account policy change events. Let's see the description about policy change events. Policy change events, let's go there. Distribution, application, other accounts. He is saying that he will monitor or he will record domain policy was changed. So he is concentrating on the changes of the group policies of the domain, and password policy checking was called. Let's see this. Account management logs two other events, both under the account management events subcategory. Events 4739, domain policy was changed, is a little misleading. This event means that the computer effective account policy or account lockout policy was modified either local or through the domain. So we have a group policy, okay, it is locally or on the domain. This group policy is concerning the account lockout duration, when the account should be locked out, okay, after how much invalid trials. Okay, so he's saying that any change to the account lockout or the account policies, group policies on the domain or locally on the machine, this it is recorded. Okay, this is 4739. Okay, such a change on the DC affects domain accounts, and you can expect to see the same event logged on other DCs as the modified GPO replicates around the domain. This event on a member server affects only the local accounts. We have seen this. It's only related to the local accounts. So he is monitoring the change of the local group policies related to account lockout and account policy. Okay, account lockout, this is related to account lockout duration, account lockout invalid attempts, account lockout reset counter. All of these are related to this one. So he is, just a minute guys. Okay, so here let's see, we need to monitor. Here we are trying to monitor this kind of events. We need to monitor the successful events and the failure events. So here is what he's talking about. Okay, he's talking about monitoring two events. These are the number of the events, and this is the description of the two events. Okay, so this is a very good website that you can check and see what are the event different event logs and what they mean. Okay, or different events and what they mean. So here we will monitor, or we will open the other accounts, and then we will need to the success. Okay, so here this is one, and then this is only success, not failure. So we need the success, not the failure. And then we will open another option to audit security groups change. So if there is a change in a local group on the machine, you have renamed it or add a member to it. Sorry, have you named the group, or you have done something to a group, you have deleted a local group, you have created a local group, this is also will be monitored, something called security group management success. Okay, so this is also from the account management. So here let's see, this is only the success, and then we need to go to the security group. Okay, security group management. Security group management. I don't need to see this description. So here security groups, here is saying that creating, deleting and changing of security groups, this is are related to local groups. So if you create the local group, you have deleted the local group, you have changed a security group locally on a server, this will be recorded, and even changes in group members. So if you have one of these local groups and you have removed a member from this local group, or have you added a member, this also will be recorded. Okay, so this is very critical to see who is playing with the local groups on the machine. Okay, so we need also this to be done for the successful events. Okay, successful events. So we'll go to success and click on it, and then we need to have user account management. This is also will monitor the local users. So the first one will monitor the groups, creating groups, deleting groups, changing members of the groups. Users management will monitor the user, creating of a user, deleting of a user, renaming of a user. So what is related, or all what is related to a user. Let's see also user account management and see the description. So here is, he will say that it is related to creating, changing, deleting, renaming, disabling or enabling user accounts, local user accounts. So this is also will be monitored, creating local users on a server, changing local users on a server, deleting local users on a server, disabling, renaming or enabling. Okay, so this is logic, and this should be also a universal setting for Windows servers and workstations. Okay, so this is successful. We are now auditing successful events, not the failure events. And yes, he will audit failures. So this is important for users. We need to know who successfully created a user and who did not have success for deleting a user. This may be for a hacker trying to create a user for himself and he failed. So this should be recorded. And now we have one of the most important things to monitor and audit and record: plug and play, okay, devices. So this is related to successful connection of external devices. So we need to monitor who have plugged locally an external hard disk or a USB to our server. This should be monitored. Okay, this can be done on the servers and on the workstations, so we need to monitor this very carefully. To plug and play, it's not related to USBs or external hard disks. This is related to phones and every plug and play device that have a USB connection. Okay, so let's see. Also, this should be recorded. Okay, AD plug and play. Okay, so this can be a mouse. It is a USB device. It can be a keyboard. Okay, most of the devices are plug and play. And then we have another recommendation, but let's wait this for successful. And then we have another recommendation for process creation successful. Okay, this will record creation of a process and the source. So we all know that the Windows is the operating system, and it sometimes make a process. This process, or a process, for example, shutting down the machine, this process is done by a software, or it's done through a program, internal program in the Windows. This should be recorded, every process done, and who is the source of the process. For example, opening Adobe Reader, who is responsible for this process? It is the Adobe Reader program, or Adobe Reader.exe. This is it. We mean the process creation of a process and the source of the process. Okay, let's see also this. Let's see this description here in the website, so also we can go and check and see what this means. Let's see here. It is something related to, I think, object access maybe. Let's see the object access and see the other. No, not object access. It is related to not detailed tracking. This is the one. And then let's see the subcategories. Process creation. Let's see what he's talking about. Process creation. Process creation provides two types of events. These are the events that we recorded when a system process or a user opens an executable file. So system process or a user opens an executable. A user have run the program. This will be recorded. Windows creates a process in which that executable runs and log the events, okay, which identifies the executable and the account that have started the process. So if I am a user and I have opened the Adobe Reader to read a PDF, then this will be recorded. I am the one or the account that have opened the software, and the software that I have opened, or the executable file that I have opened. Okay, this is 46S8. A new process have been created opening the Adobe Reader. This is a process. This will be created, this will be logged or recorded. 46S8. And then 4696, a primary token was assigned to a process. Let's see what he mean by this. Here is describing it in details. If you need to know the details, you can read it actually, but this is very simple explanation that the process creation, okay, every program to open, it needs to have a process. This process involves a user opening the software and the software itself, and the process of opening the software. Okay, so all of these are recorded: the process opening the software itself, the executable file, and the user that has opened the file. So this is very, very useful to trace what the user is doing. So here, this is very, very good one, but I think this will have a lot of logs because this is a lot of things to record. Okay, anyway, so here he is trying to be more precise, or to be more suspicious. He will record everything. Okay, so here is saying that he need also, or the other recommendation is to record the account lockouts. Okay, so successful account lockout. Okay, account lockouts identify malicious login attempts. So for example, if I have seen an account it is locked out frequently or too much time. So for example, I have an account, it is always locked out. So this means that the user is not remembering his password, or a hacker is trying to guess the password. So this should be recorded. Successful lockout events. Okay, we need to see this, or we need to record this. So let's go and see this. Also, we need to audit successful account logout. Okay, so this is one of the things we need to go to account, I think, for, yes, this is it, login and log off events. So I think, let's see how much time we have passed here. We have 55 minutes. I think I have one or two recommendations, and then we will continue in the upcoming video. So now he need to record account logout failures. So account is not logged out, or it is logged out. I think this is not logic. Account logout means successful, but failure means that it was not logged out. So I think, anyway, we will record both as he's saying this. So account logout, we will have successful and failure. So this is it. And then we need to, let's go continue more. Let's see, we have already done this. Let's see the other recommendation. So basically you are monitoring everything. Okay, so here is saying that group memberships, successful change in it. He means that group memberships related to group memberships of a user login token. So he is saying here that, for example, if a user is a member of a group, okay, and he logged into a machine. So for example, if I am a user a local user, a member of accounting local group, okay, and then I have logged in with my user to the machine, and then I have changed my membership, or I have changed my membership from the local account group to another group. This should be recorded, okay, the token, the user login token. So for example, I am a user in the local account group, so I am giving the permissions of the account local group. If this permission is changed, this by changing the group itself or the member of the group, this should be recorded. Okay, so anyway, also this should be monitored. We need to audit the group membership. We need to go and the successful one. Okay, so let's go and change, or let's audit this one. This we go to group membership and then tell him configure successful. Okay, and this is, I think maybe we need the failure actually also. No, then we audit log off successful. We need to audit if a user has logged off a machine. This is a very important thing to monitor or to record, because we will know exactly when a user have logged out of the machine. Okay, it is recorded on the local system. It's to a network share. It is recorded on the system access. So let's see here. He's saying here that log off records users log off. If it is an interactive log off, it is recorded on a local system. If it is to a network share, it is recorded on the system access. So he's saying that if you have a network share, you need to you will be disconnected when you log off the machine. So this is also recorded. Okay, so we record the log off of the users. This is very normal. We need to record the log offs of the users. So we need also the log offs, the successful log off, and we need also to monitor and record the successful login. Okay, so we need to do both. Okay, login and log off. Okay, so we will do this. We need to record the logon. So this is very normal. Okay, so one say to me, Windows normally logs or records the login of users in the security logs, but the audit option will add more info. Okay, so I think let's continue, and I will stop at this recommendation or the other recommendation. Here we need to configure audit failure logins. We have done this. We have tell him audit login and log off. Okay, so I think this is for the audit log off and login. So I think we need to stop because we have 1 hour. I think we will stop here at this recommendation for audit special logins. Okay, I need to stop here. Okay, I will stop at this recommendation, or I think maybe we can continue. Okay, let's continue with this one. So here is saying we audit special logins. What are special logins? it will record the special accounts that log into a machine. What are the special accounts? The administrative accounts. So if, for example, a local administrator has logged into a machine, this will be recorded. This is a special login. This is one that have administrative privileges, and he can be used to elevate processes. So he is the most important or a special user. It is the local administrator or any account that have administrative privileges. So this also should be recorded. A login of a user that have administrative privileges. This is normally for the local administrator accounts. So we need to record this as well. We need to record this as one successful special login. Okay, we need to go and audit or open or record this kind of events, special login, and then tell him success. I think maybe failure actually. And then we will stop at this recommendation. This is very good. Other object access event. So this is the minute number 24:36. Hope this video informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.